Burda, Paradigm Fleet, thank you for coming today. Appreciate your time. We've known each other for quite some time now.
Yeah,
at least
man.
for the last 5 years or
At
so.
least 5 years, yeah, for sure.
Our daughters go to the same school. You're a business owner like myself. And last year, I think you won the 40 under 40 achievement award.
Yeah, I
so
did.
Congratulations by that.
Thank you.
So I just want to start, just give me a little bit background of who Rob is and what Paradigm Fleet is. It's straightforward. I know it personally, but for our audience, if you can just describe what you do and how you got here.
Yeah, so I'm second generation in the car business. Grew up doing wholesale as a kid with my dad, started at 16. Got my salesman's license at 16. Did some importing and exporting with him. And about 5 years ago, it was time for me to kind of head out on my own and forge my own path. And from there, we came up with Paradigm Fleet Services. And basically the idea behind it and the reason why we started it is because we wanted a business that looked after every aspect of the vehicle side. It's one of the most expensive components to any business that's operating today. So we wanted to bring it all under one roof, the upfitting, the graphics, the financing, the leasing, and the acquisitions of the vehicles. And that's where Paradigm was born. We really pride ourselves on like putting the customer's needs before obviously ours, right? Because it's not about selling them one vehicle, it's about gaining them long-term as a customer and help them grow their business.
And that's what I like about that. That's why I love your business model is that not only are you, it's not just you're selling this tangible vehicle or that's fitted and you can help them with leasing, but you're also going one step further and strategizing how to grow their business along the way.
100%.
Just from an efficiency standpoint, things like that is you're fitting them and designing these trucks. So tell me a little bit about that and how do you develop that over time and what kind of benefits that has offered your company as returning customers?
So we're totally blessed to do what we do for a living. We get to deal with entrepreneurs every single day, and entrepreneurs are probably the most important fabric of our entire society. If it wasn't for, plumbers, electricians, construction, farmers, we wouldn't have the things that we need in society. So it's great for us because we get to deal with these people on a daily basis. We get to see what their dreams are, what their vision is, and then we help them execute it. And so being part of that is huge for us. We sit down with the workers that work for the companies to understand what their day-to-day needs are when they're working in their vans, because at the end of the day, if they're not efficient, then they're wasting time, and time, as we know, as business owners, is like the most expensive commodity that we have. It sucks when you lose like parts and stuff. It costs money. So having a properly outfitted van makes it a lot easier, saves the guys time, frustration, and helps them stay organized. And that is just like it's a blessing for us. That's what our main focus is when we're operating as Paradigm Fleet Services. We work towards helping the customers really see the opportunity where they can shave, expenses from time.
And how do you articulate that time? Like, do you bring them in on a design center and tell them, hey, listen, maybe you should fit your equipment this way and that way? Like, do you get that detailed?
Best practices, man. So we look at what other businesses are doing. So customers that come to us with ideas, we let the guys, the workers, like the guys that are working on the tools, the tradesmen, go out, use the vehicle for a period of time. Then they come back, give us feedback. And then from there, we help to modify the van to be a little bit more efficient. And we look at like the products that we put in the vans too. It's not just about jamming shelving and stuff in the trucks just to get the stuff off the floor. It's about making sure that the tools have the right place. It can be a little bit like convoluted, I guess, in a sense. Like you kind of go overboard a little bit sometimes, but we're learning how to better strategize with our customers and the workers themselves to make sure that we're getting them as efficient as possible.
Right. And I remember actually when you launched Paradigm Fleet, I remember having the conversation just before you did it. It was a parent-teachers night sometime in September. You were telling me all about it 5 years ago, roughly.
Yeah.
And you were heading out to a conference. I think it was a Tony Robbins conference.
Yeah.
To get the mindset ready and in full. And I find that very interesting because he kind of thought about just conditioning you as a business owner and conditioning your mind, which is very important. I'm just curious as to why you went to that approach and how is it helpful? Has that been helpful ever since then until now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's super important. Keep on educating yourself, right? Yeah. One thing that when you don't know, you don't know. And if you can get like some hacks in life from people who know, the biggest thing is the 8 inches between your ears, right? So it's like the failures, the successes, not allowing it to get to your head, not allowing the failures to get to your head, failures first attempt in learning. So it helps you understand that like everybody who's an entrepreneur that wants to continue forging that path is always going to hit roadblocks. You're always going to come into a situation where problems arise. But when you start to look at problems as opportunities to improve, that's the biggest thing I have to take away from just the self-growth stuff, right? Like learning about growing myself as a person. That reflects on my staff, the people that I work with every day. And from there, I want to instill that and then help them grow. So it's, the job as a leader in an organization is to make sure that you're going out, educating yourself as much as you possibly can so that you can then pass that information down to the people that you work with to help them grow, to do a better job. And then again, that goes on to your customers, right? Because we're dealing with business owners every day. So like, we hear guys, they come in, oh, I want to buy a van, I want to grow my business, but I don't know if the time's right.
Right.
Well, if everybody thinks that the time's not right now, then it definitely is the right time. They say like the narrower path, right? The path that's less taken is the one that bears the most fruit. So when you look at it from that construct, it's like you optimize yourself in those moments and you give yourself the opportunity to do what everybody else. So if everybody's in retraction, you learn more, give yourself more opportunity to have more knowledge, and then you can grow more efficiently and more effectively.
And and then now this is my next question. Is I'm curious because, you pivot and everything else. Every obstacle brings opportunities. You just mentioned. What was during COVID? What was that like for the car business?
Okay, so I've been doing this for 23 years.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the most complicated situation I've ever experienced. Like inventory was at an all-time low. Commercial was like even worse than passenger vehicles. It still is a problem today. What we did was we just went all in. We just said, you know what, everybody else is in retraction right now. Let's keep growing. Let's keep going. And, in hindsight, looking back at it now, I would say there was a lot of benefit to doing that. But then being such a young company, it did put a lot of strain on us because it's hard to get the right people. So through COVID, we found that like we scaled up, we hired a lot of people that we thought were going to be efficient and effective, and we got taken advantage of a little bit this last like couple of years, which is okay though. It was a good learning experience for us. Right. It's not like there's nothing that's going to make you retract to the point of stopping because you're in it now and you got to keep moving forward. And these opportunities, when you don't have the right people, it lends itself to give you perspective on the people that you want on your team, the types of people you want on your team. They might not be for everybody, but you have to look at each individual and seek out what their skill set is, what their abilities are. But the biggest thing I've noticed is their willingness to want to learn.
Willingness to want to learn.
Yeah.
Because now if I look at my situation with my brokerage, like in the first quarter of next year, my plan is to bring on at least 2 people as agents. But I am taking my time. I'm taking my time because I know that if it's the wrong person on your team could be detrimental.
Catastrophic.
Great word.
Like we had a sales manager that we hired. Guy had all the experience that you could ever ask for. Mm-hmm. He cost us so much in morale, right? That's a huge one. Cost us so much morale because you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I mean, some people are going to say, no, that's not true. You can. No. They're set in their ways. He used our operation like a country club for a period of time. And it was one of those things where as an owner of a business, you sometimes want to step back and allow people to do the things that you've asked them to do. But when you start seeing your staff coming in and the energy is starting to like decrease and it's starting to implode, there's a time where you have to just say enough's enough, right? And you move away from that negative energy, and you give yourself an opportunity to use it as a lesson and a stepping stone to the better things. And so we're at a place right now where we've got an incredible team right now between our service side of our business. Our service side is flourishing right now. Our upfitting side of the business is flourishing. And now we've got a great sales team together, and everybody comes in the morning and they're pumped and they motivate each other and they talk to each other in the mornings about ideas and opportunities. And that's what it's all about. That's what makes me want to get up in the morning and go to work, to walk into a place where like everybody's got the same intentions as I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the word I've been hearing a lot. Be intentional. What is your intention?
Yeah.
Is your intention to be part of this basically family? You work together pretty much 6-8 hours a day.
Spend more time with them than your own family, right?
Right. And so in the beginning, there's the trial and error. And so once you fix all the trial and error, how do you keep these folks happy?
So so we went to a conference. I went to a conference the other week up in Hockley Valley. And there was a gentleman from Hartford, Connecticut came to speak, and he was talking about what's the purpose of the business to get people to want to spend like a big part of their life with you in your organization. And I think it comes back to getting the people excited about what they're doing. So it's like when I talk about, we're selling cargo vans, like not to be crude, but it's not sexy, right? It's just like cargo vans is like, meh, right?
Yeah.
But when you
maybe for the finance guy, it's not sexy, but for a guy like you, it's sexy.
Yeah.
But
so when you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, you got this guy, he's got a new concept, he wants to build this business, or even just a plumber, right? Or electrician. And you're getting involved in like, okay, he's just one guy in a truck today, but in 5 years, our customers repeat every 6 months to a year. So we're very fortunate that way. Like if we're doing our job properly, these customers come back.
They come back because they scale and
they need more. Because
Because
they scale and they need more, right?
Yeah.
And then we show them how to do that too by like helping to manage and package everything together in one payment, so it simplifies it. We help them out organizing insurance and just putting the whole package together for them. It just makes it not a full-time job. Because really, if you think about it, if you had to go from picking a van up at just some regular dealership, going and getting it outfitted, then going to a graphics guy, then potentially the dealership you're buying from might not offer leasing, then you're going out to a third-party leasing company. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of hands.
Scattered.
There's a lot of hands in the pot too, right?
Yeah.
So by putting everything underneath one roof, we can be way more efficient, way more cost-effective, and bring way more value to the guy. And it's just a phone call away now, right? Because now it's rinse, repeat. Right.
Love it.
Yeah.
Great business model.
And we love it too, because, and that's where getting the people that we work with to get excited about cargo vans, right, is knowing that they're dealing with entrepreneurs. They're dealing with people that are like helping our society. I mean, think about it. If we got a really cold winter and there was an issue with furnaces, or there's electrical issues or whatever, these people come to you or beck and call, basically. They're there when you need them. And we get to be part of making sure that they're there when you need them.
Yeah. Something about it. And that's part of being intentional.
100%.
And when you're intentional, then you actually get locked in and becomes excited of what you're doing. So that's a great approach. And now know we talked about just before we went live, you were talking about now moving into a couple different verticals. Can you talk about those verticals?
Yeah.
And specifically, I think you're, getting into in the movie industry and things like that.
Yeah. So we own a rental company as well, Paradigm Truck Rental, and that we supply vehicles into the movie industry for a lot of shows you watch on Netflix and Amazon and Disney Plus. And so that's kind of an interesting business, but we do that also for just the general public as well. So a guy who's trying to scale his business too as well, we work with him if he needs an extra truck and he's not sure that he's ready to add another vehicle to his fleet. We can still outfit a vehicle and kind of help him slowly scale it, right? So he can get his feet, put his toes in the water. But yeah, putting things in the movie industry is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Going down to the sets and stuff is it's something else. It's a big deal. And Toronto's it's another market altogether, and it's another world altogether.
And how is that dealing with movies? Anytime I hear about a movie project, I hear the word budget.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, is it harder to deal with movie production budgets versus the guy that's coming in to scale, or is it is it much easier?
It's much easier.
Okay.
Yeah, it is much easier. I'll be honest with you. It's one thing is that there's a shortage of trucks right now, so we're sort of kind of in a very blessed spot. Yeah, it's a commodity right now. So, but we have a great team that looks after our rental fleet that. I don't even really get too much involved in it. I'm going to be getting more involved in it as we kind of put the pieces together with our current sales staff and upfitting staff, but because I got to pull myself back from that a little bit to focus on the rental side. But the movie studios is definitely a different world, man. All sorts of characters.
That's exciting, man. That's really exciting. I was you had invited me for a golf tournament this year, and we're in the business to profit, but also to give back as well. And just wanted to have you talk about a little bit about the charity because I think it's important.
Yeah. So Men's Street Ministry, Mr. Boyd, incredible man. He serves 1,500 people a week throughout Hamilton that are homeless or are not independent. They need the help, right? And so we love getting involved in those types of causes because our business model we're in business to make money ultimately, but we're people over profit all day long, whether it be the people that we work with or the people that need something. We got involved in Habitat for Humanity this year. We worked with Sterling Honda, John Lecluse, and we donated half a van essentially, right, to the cause,
and all from Hamilton.
From Hamilton. Yeah, Hamilton's Habitat for Humanity. But we just love being involved in that stuff, and it's not like I feel funny even talking about it right now because I'd rather just want to stay humble about it and quiet about it. But the cause is so good that because people need it, and it always comes back to mental health, right? People struggle with mental health, addiction, broken families, things like that. And to be involved in that stuff
saves lives.
100% it does. And people need it, right? I mean, unfortunately, I don't necessarily know if our government's doing a great job at looking after those people. And I think ultimately it's people that are in a position like a business where we have a voice and people listen to us, and it breeds opportunity to help these people. And our golf tournament was just a great day. It was awesome.
It was your first year and holy crap. First of all, it was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And just a great showing. That was your first one. It was done well. So shout out to your team, your wife specifically. Erin. Shout out to her.
Yeah, Erin
you did a really good job.
Yeah.
And you're going to be having that
100%. Oh yeah, it's going to be an annual thing that we're planning on doing, and our goal is eventually to get into six figures in our donations annually. That's kind of something I set out in my business plan right from day one, and we're almost halfway there right now for what we've contributed this year.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that's awesome. At the end of the day, it's great to have a huge profit at the end of the year, and we did fantastic this year. But giving back to the community and seeing the difference that it makes in people's lives is huge, right? So like Mr. Boyd with Men's Street Ministry, he knows that like coming into like that time of year, like August to October is his slowest time of year for donations. Like he doesn't get anything.
Is that right? Eh?
Yeah. So it was just funny that we chose that that ministry to help. And
would you be exclusive now, or did you change from charity to charity?
We'll do him.
Yeah.
We'll do him in like
Yeah.
every year for sure, and then we'll have other causes that we're going to do. But the golf tournament's going to be committed to him.
Amazing.
Yeah, because you know what, he's one guy in a truck and a dream, and he's driven by God, man. And, it's awesome to see someone step outside their comfort zone and go do something so selfless.
So selfless.
Yeah.
When he spoke too, it was he comes from ministry, and you can tell he's intentional as well. You can just tell that. From people.
Absolutely.
So good for you guys for doing that.
Thank you.
I think it's tremendous.
Yeah.
And one thing I know that, as a family man as well, is wanted to take your take on as an entrepreneur and who's always pushing and pushing. What's family work balance? What does that look like? And
it's
how
good
important
now.
is it?
It's
good
yeah,
now.
it's good now. Yeah, it's good now. I mean, in the beginning,
Yeah.
I remember James, my partner, he was working as a heavy equipment mechanic at the time. We were working out of a like dirt floor shop, essentially, like when we very, very first started, just managing deals that I was brokering at the time when we first started. And, he's working till 2-3 o'clock in the morning, sleeping at the shop on a workbench, both of us, and then heading to work back in the morning again. Right. And so that was not healthy.
Yeah.
But it's improved now because we've kind of got things organized now to a point.
And it's so flush now,
Yeah.
And if you take back, and if there's content that you've, like took pictures of yourself and look back, it's just so,
they're funny,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's really cool because it sets the timeline, right?
Yeah.
So you see like where you started and where you are today.
Yeah.
And not that there isn't any like hurdles right now. Yeah. There's always hurdles, but it's how you deal with them. And then you look at you kind of look at problems now. It's like you let them sit, right? Like you could have something bad happen, but they don't affect you the way that they affected you in the very beginning, because now you have some context, right? This too will pass, right? You're gonna get past this problem, and then you'll be able to foresee the next time something like that happens. And then if you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, you keep on getting the same result. That's Einstein's definition of insanity.
That's right.
So that's where you got to be as an entrepreneur. You have to be aware, right? Aware of what's happening.
So how earlier on did you have system and process in place, whatever that looks like? or is it
system and processes in place when you're throwing a whole bunch of pieces like this together?
Good luck, right?
Well,
in the beginning,
no. There's a method to it. So
because you've come from that industry, so you know a little bit.
Sustainable pressure. Sustainable pressure is like you pile stuff, and then organically people will start to figure it out and how to create solutions. So like my biggest thing is, and I can be a little difficult. Yeah. I can be a little difficult. If you come to me with a problem, you better have at least thought about a solution. Because if you haven't thought about a solution, turn around, go back, think about it, then come back to me, and then we can work on it together.
Can I just say amen to that, dude?
Yeah.
Like, it is so frustrating.
Yeah.
Because personally, when I'm thinking about it, like if there's a deal that's just gone upside down or whatever, I've made that mistake to just come to whoever's training me or whatever.
Fix this for me.
Fix it for me. And let's say if they did, you've learned nothing. Nothing.
No.
Nothing at all. And
that's where the opportunity lies, man.
Bam.
That's where the opportunity lies. It lies in the problems. And today, I love problems. Bring me more problems. Like that's, I don't want peace. I want problems every day. It's not realistic, but it really, like when you have a good team of people together and you have people who have, mentally they're, as long as they're looking after themselves properly, taking care of themselves properly, and they're functioning at like a optimum, they should be able to solve the majority of the issues without getting us too involved. And it's not that I don't want to be involved. It's that my whole goal for this business is that eventually what's going to happen is I want to bring the people that are key players in to be partners, right? So that I can scale the business better and I can allow other people to become entrepreneurs and have a better quality of life for their families and things, right? It's not about just me. I'm not after the big boat. I'm not after the helicopter. I'm not after that stuff. I'm after growing people and bringing that opportunity into their site, like their line of sight,
their
right?
purview.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett is someone I'm kind of following now. For the longest time, I was like, should I follow? Should I look into him? And I am now. And one of the things I picked up on him and when he ran his firm is he didn't have an HR department. There was no HR department.
No kidding.
So his door was open.
Yeah.
People will come in if they have issues, and they will just deal with it as it comes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a family dynamic.
You have to.
And so I know you've touched on some, like we've had conversations. We didn't go into depth in each scenario, but you did touch on how you manage where someone's going through a hard time, like you said, especially in today's world, right?
Yeah.
How often do you say, what's like, as far as how long do you give somebody time to adjust? Let's say if they're having a bad day a bad moment in their life, like how long do you give them to adapt so they, at the end of the day, they still have to show up for work?
Yeah. So the biggest thing I find is you can't be involved in enabling people, right? Mm-hmm. So if someone's got a victim mentality and they want to continue always passing the blame, not taking accountability, I honestly, and this sounds like cold, I guess, I don't have time for that.
But it's not cold because some places they don't even allow that at all. There's zero tolerance to even have some sort of empathy. You do.
So I have a ton of empathy for the people I work with.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want to get to know them all personally, just because of my background. Mm-hmm. I want to understand what they're going through. As long as they're willing to work and make an effort and take some direction,
apply
it. And I'm always willing to be.
That's awesome.
I'm always willing to be there to like be a leg of the stool for them, so to speak. Yeah. But if they're constantly putting blame on people and not taking accountability for themselves and using the excuses that hold them back to keep them down, it's just like anything else in life, man. Your 5 closest people to you are going to determine your future. So you want to be around our network, around the people that we have around us. You better step it up, right? So I have tons of compassion for people, especially when they're struggling mental health and stuff like that. I'm always prepared to like point people, give them suggestions and direction, but you can't bring the rest of the team down for one either. So like, it's not to be like, nobody's disposable. I don't think about anybody being disposable. And when people get their stuff sorted out, come back and talk to me. But there's a time where if it becomes, it's like one bad piece of fruit, right? Yeah. And the pile is going to make them all spoil. 100%. So you got to take it out for a little bit.
Especially when there's no sincere effort and it's just like, fire me already or get rid of me already or just like total disregard. It's kind of like, well, you're thinking you're just taking advantage of a nice person.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's sometimes really frustrating.
Can be, for sure. Absolutely. Like we found this one kid fell asleep at the Tesla charger for 2 hours, right? And it's like, then we're getting phone calls from other dealerships. Oh, like, why is this guy hanging out here for 2 hours? And then we realize that like his eyes were always bloodshot, right? So it's like, man, this guy's coming to work like under some type of influence of something. And he's not only distracting and taking away from what our goals are, but now he's like disruptive to like other businesses, right? Other people. So when we look at that as a whole, because our partners that we do business with, they're just as important as the people that we work
100%.
with. And so again, it has to be, everybody's got to be on the same page. Everybody's got to be driving towards the same goals. And so we try to have these conversations on a weekly basis. We try to have like, weekly meetings and stuff like that. I go out to the shop. I try to talk to each individual guy, see what's kind of going on in their lives. Like I know when the babies are due. I know, when they're going on vacation, obviously. But like I also know when they're struggling with stuff too. right? And so I'm there. I can understand it. I've been there. So it's just like me giving them the guidance and try to like point them in the right direction. And, you know, like the best analogy, like I said before, the narrow path bears the most fruit, right? If you go to a super highway, man, there's nothing on either side. It's the narrow path. It's like doing the things that majority of people will not be willing to do, and the uncomfortable stuff. So forget about things of this world. Forget about all the fancy noise, so to speak. The things that like you're being programmed to like believe and listen to, because it just keeps you distracted from the general goal of what your life purpose should be.
Gotcha. And you know what? Sometimes, you know, you have that employee to boss relationship, and you have to kind of watch out and everything else. But for you to go and even think that way to help somebody else, that's just a testament what kind of leadership you possess, and, you know, the kind of person you are. So
well, we care, man.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, not everybody has the opportunity. And I always say this too, is that like when you're growing up, you have your mom and your dad. You know, if you're fortunate enough, you have your mom and your dad. A lot of people don't have that, right? And the next thing you do is you go to school, and like you have someone there to give you direction. You go to college, you have teachers, you have student aides and things like that to give you direction. It's like when people get into the workforce, and this is like the problem with the industrial age and the whole mentality of like, you're just a number, like, you know what, you make a pay, you go home, and I don't really care about you. Whereas like now, because you're a purpose-driven business, the purpose of running the business is knowing that the people inside matter, and the people that are inside your business matter so much. You're bringing them into the most vulnerable part of your life. I mean, your business is like, for me at least, it's everything. I have everything invested in that, and I'm bringing these people that I don't know, and I trust them to do the jobs that they're supposed to do. I have to know and have to understand 100%. What the dynamics are. And so if I can get to that level and understand them on a personal level, there's also, there's like that fine line, obviously, but like they need to know that they matter to me.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's where I think business is moving into the future right now. Yes, profits are important, but at the end of the day, it's the people inside the business. I mean, you've taken on this responsibility, like I said, from childhood right to college. You've got these people that have someone guiding them along their way. And as soon as they get into the workforce, they just become a number. So the important aspect of running and operating a business is making sure that you're continuing to carry on that educational, opportunity-driven, like, let's help these people move forward in life, and they're not just a number. It's like, let's educate them. Let's try to get them on the same page. It's like, even like we've even been talking about having like financial advisors and stuff come in, educate them on how to like manage money properly and things like that as we get bigger. Because if you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
And if you don't have like those 5 closest friends to you, right? If they're not driven to like have good quality, successful, balanced lives, right? They're just worried about the party. They're worried about drinking. They're worried about the nonsense. Then they're just going to be a number. That's how they're going to feel. So educate, empower, help them grow.
So good advice. So good advice. Because then they're going to make that your business about their business automatically by default.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's not the greedy thing for me. It's that if the company does better, they do better.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where the opportunity really lies. And it's not only the company does better, but the second generation in their family does better.
Right. How much of your business model, as far as customer acquisition, digital, versus the belly-to-belly relationship building?
So growing the business, so starting at 0 to like we're in our 5th year now, heavy digital,
right?
Like super heavy digital, right? But we needed to get known. We needed to like get out there. We needed to like shake trees. We needed to get people's attention. So 5 to 10 now is nurturing, and then outside sales is going to be a huge part of our business moving forward, because I think that's something that's lacking today. People don't like, COVID just drove a knife right into it. Yeah. And it's funny because we went out knocking on some doors a couple of weeks ago.
Businesses.
Yeah. We took a new sales guy that we just hired, and good potential. This guy, huge potential, like massive potential. Guy's talented, driven, wants it. He wants to go after it hard. And we went out, him and I, just to go knock on some doors to see what the reception was. Just like after COVID, not knowing, people were like taken back. People were like, wow, it's so nice to see somebody. Wow, you really took the time to come out to see us. You came out to educate us on what you guys do as a business. Thank you. And like already picked up quite a few new customers just by doing that.
Yeah, real estate agents, mortgage brokers. Just if you're listening, take this advice. People want to see people. They want to look at them in their face and talk to them, because that's something that during COVID has gone away. Everything was on Zoom and everything else, but you've just tested and validated this, and you're going to be expanding. Would you be hiring like a business development manager to do that?
That's the goal. So the guy that I was out with, I think he's geared towards that. Like I'm trying to get him acclimated to like understanding the whole dynamic of the business, because I want to groom him to like be one of the key people to help me, change lanes for myself. So I can put him into a role that I used to fill, and then hopefully, if he's the right guy, give him some ownership, right? Equity, like give him, like he's got to put the sweat in. I'm not looking for I don't need the financial from him. I need the sweat equity from him. I need the effort from him, because that's what drives the business. It's the passion for the business and the passion for the customers. Gotcha. But yeah, 100%. Like I think B2B, especially in our field.
No pun intended. This is what the podcast is called, by the way, B2B.
And and I think that's where the opportunity lies today. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with Michael Leachin.
Isn't that Leachin?
Leachin, he owns Portland House Investments, I believe it is. He used to be AIC.
Yes. Oh, I know him.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
he's got the hospital named after him in Burlington.
Yeah. Well, I think he's also he's got the diamond at the museum, the diamond room at the museum.
Gotcha. Okay,
Toronto.
Tell me about that. Yeah.
So he started out I think it was insurance, selling insurance, and he was going door to door. Right? Just banging on doors. And his success was built on that. And I went to school with his son, Paul, and I remember like having these conversations and hearing that like he went door to door. And it's like anybody. I mean, look at Grant Cardone, door to door. A gentleman by the name of Marty Muse that I know, super successful man, incredible human being. He sold vacuums, like, what is it? Like Vacuum Queen or something like that. Filter Queen. He went door to door selling vacuum cleaners, but it gave him the confidence, right? It gave him that confidence. And it also gave him the opportunity to like understand people, because you get customers that come in, right? I'm sure you've dealt with it where customers like, oh, I don't want to like, this is uncomfortable. I got to spend money, or it's like it takes people. So how do you make people feel comfortable? Well, make yourself uncomfortable first, right? Put yourself in their shoes. Feel as uncomfortable as they are to make them feel comfortable.
Freaking brilliant. Very brilliant. Like that's psychology,
Well, it's not even, I don't want, there's no magic.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, it's not like, it's
trial
not
and error.
It's not about tricking people or doing anything.
Yeah.
It's about making people, it's about putting yourself in their shoes, right? Like you're walking into someone's like business, and you got to get past the gatekeeper. How do you get past the gatekeeper? You can smile nice, but you got to give them a solution. You got to tell them that I'm here
Box
to
of chocolate.
Yeah, I'm here to help, right? I'm not looking to just sell one thing to you. I'm looking to be a solution for you in general, like with your business, right? So it's like mortgages. It's lots of different things that you do. It's the vertical's huge. It's like our business. We want to be able to like say, you need service for your vehicles, oil changes, tires. You need wraps. You want to change your marketing strategy. You have assets that are sitting on the ground right now that you have cash tied up in them. Well, let's refinance. Let's pull some capital out of them. Let's help you there.
Yeah.
You're adding new employees. You want to test a market, so try our rentals, right? So it's like it's this whole suite of things that we want to offer to people, and it's not about selling them one thing. It's about just creating a relationship with them where we are there to balance out their problems.
Love it. White picket fence.
Yeah.
You're staying home, buddy. You're not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
And it's overall, they're going to spend it somewhere. Why don't you just have a pinpoint place to do that, you know? And I think it's very, very important. Well, we're coming to the end of the podcast. I wanted to say thank you again, Rob.
You.
And done a really great job and just letting us know with the good stuff, you know?
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we'll have you on again because you have so much. I don't know, so much to share.
Yeah, we could do this for 2 hours. Probably.
Yeah, I know. It's like producer Jay says 45 minutes, but we could we can extend that.
Yeah, we can do part 2.
Yeah, part 2. How do people get to you? You know, Instagram handles or just phone number, please.
So Instagram is at Paradigm Fleet. Our website is paradigmfleet.ca. And our phone number, direct line to the office is 905-512-5670.
And you are located?
Stony Creek. So 371 Barton Street in Stony Creek. And hopefully a new location coming to you soon.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us. Okay.